So if elected, how would you specifically help the following groups? A, children under 18, B, young families, and C, seniors.
Okay, well, I think we would continue on with some of the things where we can do for people under 18 years old. We've done such things as removed them from paying APST on the clothing, etc. that they buy. That was initiated some time ago, and that will continue. I think a second thing we're doing, 18-year-olds are now graduating high school. They'll be looking to go to university. We've got the student assistance program where they can get $500 a year for 4 years off their tuition. Of course, as they graduate, we've got our grad retention program, which has been a great program and been, some good uptake on that all the way along. For young families, the same thing. We're trying to take them off the, save them their PST on buying goods for their children. And I think some of those maybe the lower income families, we've taken over 114,000 people in this province off this provincial tax rolls completely. Those are some of the things that we'll continue to do.
And seniors?
And on the seniors plan, we've increased the seniors income plan, the monthly plan, which hadn't been increased for 16 years prior to our forming government. It's sat at $90. We've now tripled that to $270 a month. We've also increased the funding for senior citizens in personal care homes, both for individuals and for couples. Some of those things that we're going to continue to do.
Awesome. And so what can be done to reduce the crime rate in North Battleford?
Well, I think we've made some good inroads there over the past several years. As you know, we've implemented, it was a pilot project for the Battleford, by the way, the Community Safety Officer Program. And I think we're seeing results of that. What that's done is that allowed, they're looking after some more of the traffic violations, those sort of things, has allowed our RCMP members to concentrate more on serious crimes. We've also, we provide funding of $770,000 per year to our RCMP, and that's allowed us to hire 7 more RCMP members to look after some organized crime.
So what's your opinion of public-private partnerships, like the one being used to build the new Saskatchewan hospital?
Well, I think it's an excellent way to get some infrastructure working back again. The Saskatchewan Hospital North Battleford is the largest infrastructure project ever in this community. It's going to provide up to 1,500 jobs while construction. A lot of those jobs are going to be local jobs. Already, it's just at its beginning stages, as you know. There's been 11 provincial companies hired. 2 of them are local, and the other 9 are from the area. And that's going to continue on. I know some of the other P3 projects. I think about the seniors care home in Swift Current. There's been 46 local and provincial companies hired to build that P3 project. It's a way to get these buildings built and have them maintained, and when we get the building back in 30 years, it's still government property, but when we take it back over, it will be in like new condition.
And so given the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's findings, does our education system adequately teach students about residential schools and First Nations issues in general?
And we've made some good inroads in that, and I think that our education minister has made several announcements to get some of these things into our curriculum. And I know in talking to school board members and meeting teachers on the doorsteps that some of these programs are helping to narrow the gap. Some other things we're trying to do in our 2020 plan, the Premier has indicated that our goal is going to be to reduce the difference between graduation rates between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal students and incorporate some of that into our curriculum.
Awesome. And given the importance of the energy sector in this area, what would you do to improve conditions for natural resources or natural resource development?
Well, I think we've made some announcements in that regard all the way along. We just did a husky opening of the SAGD plant in the EDM country up there, and there's 2 more going to be coming online shortly. What we hear from the oil industry is they want a stable environment, and that's something that this government has provided. We've said we're not going to tinker with royalty roads. We're not going to do those kind of things. We saw what happened in Alberta in 2007 when they did that. They want to know that they've got a stable future economy to deal with, and that's what they have in Saskatchewan.
And where do you stand on how we provide temporary shelter for the homeless, example, the Lighthouse?
For the Lighthouse, for example, our government is certainly committed to help those that are most vulnerable in our society, and we're going to continue to do that. And that's why we've made, over the past several years, increases to per diem rates from homeless shelters. I think we've increased those rates 8 times, some 21% for individuals and up to 361% for families. We certainly don't want to see anyone that's vulnerable in those sorts of situations. Our primary goals are protection and safety, and to do the work that we can do, keeping in mind of taxpayer dollars.
Right. And so what are the pros and cons of privatizing the liquor store in Battleford? Should North Battleford store be privatized and all the others?
Well, the liquor stores that we are converting right now, there's 40 of them that will be converted around the province. And we've done that after doing extensive consultations. This is what the people have asked for. The stores that are being converted are stores that are either not making any profit at this particular time or costing money, or they're going to have substantial capital expenditures required in the very near future. We're still a regulator, we're still the wholesaler of the liquor, we still make our markup on the liquor, there's no changes that way. We're making several offers to staff if they want to, form their own little co-op or company and run the store. We're prepared to make some concessions to them, and we think that perhaps some of them will take them over, but it's something that the public has asked for, and we're just going to proceed with it.
And is enough being done to recognize issues with mental health? What more can be done?
Well, that's a good question, Greg. There's always, you've heard our Premier say that, and we say it, there's always more that can be done. We've done a lot of work in that field, I think, and if you want to go back to looking at our new Saskatchewan Hospital, North Battleford here, I mean, that's going to be a great facility. Some of the, treatment procedures have changed over the that building was built 100 years ago. The focus is now in different areas than it was, and we're going to continue with that. And I think on sort of the same line of thought as that is we've increased some funding for autism, and some of the help that maybe we can give these young children at that rate and help them get more adapted to the school system, those sorts of things, and I think that's going to go a long way to helping young families with that.
And so Premier Brad Wall is against the federal tax on carbon emissions, saying it is far too costly for the Saskatchewan economy. If not a carbon tax, what can the province do to combat emissions, especially from its two biggest emitters, SaskPower and SaskEnergy?
Okay, well, thank you for that question, and I think that's an excellent question. And yes, our Premier has said, and our Finance Minister has said, that these are not the times to implement another tax. Our economy, as you know, is struggling. I think what we can contribute as a province, and this is not only for us or for Canada, this can be global. As you may know, 40% of electricity worldwide right now is produced from coal. Our carbon capture and sequestration plant at Boundary Dam 3 down by Estevan, I think can have global implications. Sell that technology. We're already having a lot of international interest come and visit that plant. It's the first in the world, and from what the amount of carbon that we can capture either by sequestrating or using for enhanced oil recovery in those areas is going to go, I think, and even the United Nations in their Secretariat report specified that is one of the best contributions from Canada is our carbon capture and sequestration. And I think that's one of the greatest contributions, that technology that we can share around the world is going to be one of our greatest contributions.
Awesome. And so the last one, at what point would a disagreement with your party result in your resignation?
I can't think of anything that would, because I have no disagreements with our party. I think Premier Wall is a great leader. He's a great premier. He's speaking out for Saskatchewan. In fact, he's speaking out for Western Canada. I have nothing but respect for him and for my colleagues in the party.